Welcome back, everybody, as we're right in the middle of the action. Ultan going aggressively up against Cars here. 2-1 on the scoreboard. Looks like Dorjan got himself a kill in the top lane in trade for 2 going on over to Taubenzeit. Had a little bit of an issue with the spectate client there, so missed a little bit of the beginning of the game, but we are coming at you live 4 minutes and 40 seconds in to game number 2. It does look like Northeastern taking a little bit of an early lead.
Yeah, Northeastern have gotten the gold on where they want it. That Hecarim is going to be really scary, Gordo. Taubenzeit is going to be a real monster here, especially with the way that they are itemizing so early on, already stacking up that tier. You basically get that for free with 1 kill, and with 2 on the board, they're actually going to start steamrolling ahead a little bit, and that may cut down on Dorjan's ability to just go for duels. That being said, mid lane,
Max and Dorjan going for a play in the mid lane. That abduct not going to land, but it doesn't matter. Dorjan does so much damage. Mr. Kiwi, though, going to get traded in turn on the back side. They are chasing him down. He is leading them far away on a wild goose chase, keeping DL forever safe. DL will be successful in that one. As Ultan and Ultimate Cars are trading back and forth here. The back and forth, though, is going Ultan's way just a little bit. He is eventually going to be forced to flash, though. Left hook, right hook. Not ended up successful at the end of the day, but he will regen back up with that pick grit and maybe look to try again in a couple of moments. Meanwhile, Dorjan camping in this bottom lane. Doesn't look like there's going to be anything to get, though.
it had to be the action-packed game out of the 2 of them, Gordo, that we had to start casting late on. Ultan gonna pick up the kill into Ultimate Cars right there. And that emote spam, he was doing that in game 1 too. We shall see if he'll do any psychological damage here as we see red team in turn rotate over and start our first Drake.
My man is an off-roll E-sub, solo killing his lane opponent twice in a row here, but I can't even talk about it for very long as DL is getting caught on out. He is going to flash away, but that is going to be the zap coming on through. They're trying to finish him off, but it might just be a bait all along. Mr. Kiwi chasing him with Dorjan. A little bit more CC onto Shibloom would be another kill, and that's going to come on through. Dorjan gets himself his 3rd kill of the game. And the fact that that wasn't a killing spree, by the way, Nyarko, that's how we know First Blood went to Northeastern.
Hey, those detective skills really working out for us here. But all that talk that I had right at the start of this broadcast, Gordo, about the fact, oh, Hecarim, is now scaling up and may be able to offset the strength of the Trundle. No, it's just not happening. The farm score is about even, and that is actually 1 extra kill over to the Troll King. And we shall see what that translates into as we go deeper on in. Already some solid ganks coming out. Benjamin's just clearing out some wards as the time passes by. He has a little bit of freedom to do what he wants in this lane up into Utopian Soldier on the Karma here. But that being said, it may be difficult to really secure kills given the fact that you don't really have an ultimate to steal and work with until someone visits your lane or you pay visit somewhere else.
Seeing in the Twitch chat, the sides are swapped in the header there, but it is NEU on the blue side, HoH Gaming on the red. So HoH gonna get engaged on here. Benjamex, though, nice steal there, steals away the Karma ultimate, gets that Mantra chain, can stop the Hecarim's engage in its tracks and get himself out to safety. Gonna be a little bit before Hijack is back available, but is definitely going to be a nice play there by Benjamex to get himself out of dodge without using that flash.
Yeah, not using that flash is going to come in clutch, especially when you're against a champion like the Hecarim who's looking to eagerly gank that lane and put the silence behind. Bit of a rotation up from Shibloom, but Mr. Kiwiism as well is following in turn, and we will see both supports arrive at that mid lane.
Yeah, both coming on through. There is also a jungler for the side of Northeastern. Dorjan hovering around in that Rift Herald pit. I think he's doing it. He is pretty close to finishing it on off. Taubenzeit, though, might find him here. The jungler's going to spot each other, looking over that Rift Herald. It does go down to Dorjan. He does pick it up as well. That's going to be the ultimate. Landed there onto Hypnotic Viper. DL forever. And Mr. Kiwi, this is what they picked the bot lane for. They get the lockdown onto Hypnotic Viper's Jinx, and they get themselves a kill in the 2v1.
All of a sudden, that lead that we saw come really early on for Northeastern University has kind of evaporated here as the ultimates come up, and that leads to fantastic picks for champions like DL Forever's Ashe. Shibloom just going to try to harass, get some more ground for their ADC once they return from their trip to the fountain. But overall, right now, you're kind of on the back foot once again. First Dragon as well as Rift Herald over to HoH Gaming.
Yeah, great start for HoH here. They fell behind in that level, I don't know, probably level 2, level 3 play that we missed. But they've fought back pretty well now, and from when we tuned in, it was a 1k gold lead to the side of NEU. Now it's a 1k gold lead to the side of HoH. That's a 2k gold swing they've made happen in just about the last 5 minutes. So far, they're showing no signs of slowing down. Dorjan has so much additional gold on him. He's pretty strong on this Trundle. He's continuing to make that presence known.
A minute and a half or so before the next dragon will spawn here, Gordo, and in the meantime, itemization is beginning to come through nicely. Noon Quiver completed on both AD carries, but the damage output definitely a little bit advantageous for the red team here. I think that gold income, especially going onto the Trundle here, who is sitting at a Sheen and completed boots, just means that it'll be a little bit difficult to head on confront this next neutral objective. It really will become a matter of whether or not blue side can establish a pick and whether or not Northeastern University can in turn rotate over and grab a dragon for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. Going to be both junglers moving towards this bottom side. Dorjan gets a little bit closer. Hypnotic Viper going to be forced to use the cleanse. And now here's going to be the engage from top inside. Don't think he realizes Dorjan is waiting around, though. It gets turned right around back onto him as the volley's landing right into that Hecarim's flank. Going to require him to head back away in order to keep his life going. And the Rift Herald going to crash as well. Getting a fair bit of cash out there onto DL Forever and Mr. Kiwi. Sheebloom going to land a dredge line, chasing in onto Dorjan, but he's still got all the backup in the world. Benjamex even coming on down from mid lane. Utopian Soldier is there as well off the back of the teleport, but this 4 versus 4 feeling a little bit more like a 4 versus 3 as Taubenzeit is so low.
Yeah, I think that was one of those weird situations that you occasionally stumble onto in solo queue where you have a play in mind and then there's a variable introduced right before you execute the play, but you decide to still go through with it anyway. Taubenzeit saw the dropping of the Eye of the Herald bot side of the map, but in turn, still decided to use their Onslaught of Shadows over the wall. Took a ton of damage for their attempt, and in turn is forced to back. That's going to allow for a second dragon to go over to HoH Gaming, but Zoltan may be in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, he's taking this fight. He's going very low here, and he's going to be forced to flash over this wall, but Utopian Soldier going to throw on out a Mantra Q, finish off the fight before then. It's going to be an easy kill picked on up there for the side of Northeastern. Oltan feels a little bit overconfident there going up against this Gwen. Is going to get caught on out. Dorjan now getting harassed down as well. He's going to have to head for the hills. Benjamex steals away that Hecarim ultimate. There's going to be the Solar Flare thrown on down by Mr. Kiwi just for a little bit of additional space creation. Benjamex has no opportunities here to use this Onslaught of Shadows to get anything done. Going to just have to withstand the push. Going to have to clear on away the wave. Just wait for his teammates to come back up.
And that is a whole breaker rush for sure coming through for Oltan. He may have been taken out there, but he will return to lane with quite a gold advantage, at least in regards to the itemization coming through here. Gwen, in turn, going to complete their armor boots and will be sitting on a blasting wand. They're looking to move up towards that Rift Maker as their first item. Benjamex going in here, but Taubenzeit in the area.
Yeah, he does have that Onslaught of Shadows to dash on out. Taubenzeit does not have access to his own ultimate here. Kingslayer to try to turn things around. There's the Jinx ultimate, gets avoided. Utopian Soldier going to be forced to flash away to avoid going down. Nobody ends up dying, but it was very close for both sides there. Great dodges from Benjamex and great knowledge of Utopian Soldier to use that flash just in time to stay alive. Oltan and Cars trading back and forth in the top lane once again. Both getting very low, but neither one going to fully commit quite yet.
Yeah, pretty dramatic situation as we see the Enchanted Crystal Arrow bot side of the map. Hypnotic Viper going to have to flash out of that danger zone. Did not have cleanse quite up just yet. And that is kind of what happens when you are left alone in lane a little bit. We see Sheebloom roaming across the map to try to get pressure elsewhere and to catch some of these big plays being made. But in turn, whenever Jinx is just a little bit out of position, they get hit with the full force of Mr. Kiwi's and DL Forever.
Yeah, DL trying to get it all done himself as Oltan maybe stepped up a little bit too far here, taking multiple turret shots. That is not what you want, as Ultimate Car is going to pick up the solo kill there, even up against this whole breaker set. Oltan goes a little bit too aggressively there, will be punished. And the tables in this top lane have turned around. Cars is now firmly going to be in the lead here. And now is just scaling up farther and farther on this Gwen. Here comes Dorjan to try to turn that one around a little bit, but he does have a horse chasing in on the backside. Dodges away there very nicely from the Onslaught of Shadows. Flash in from Dorjan to try to pick up the kill. Is going to be able to get it. Now turning onto Taubensight as well. He's got the lethal tempo. He's so strong. He gets the double kill in the 1 versus 2. Dorjan popping off.
I was going to say that things were looking pretty darn worrisome. That Gwen getting the gold there is a terrible, terrible thing to occur, especially when you are actually the more early game oriented champion. But at the same time, Dorjan picking up all that gold. It's basically a funnel strat here from the top side of the map. And now I don't really know who will be able to step to and contest this Trundle.
Yeah, definitely nobody for quite a while now. I mean, Dorjan is just so strong here, especially once he gets that lethal tempo stacked up. You know, he got 3 or 4 stacks off of smacking around that Gwen to pick up the kill, and then by the time he turns onto Hecarim, he is just massive, and Taubensight has nothing he can do but try to run away. Fruitlessly at that as the stun coming on through here onto Hypnotic Viper. It's just a one-shot there from DL Forever, and they're going to pick up on a Sheeploong as well. Double kill going on over to the Ashe, and more plays being made by HoH. They throw down the Rift Herald, and they're going to make this push in mid go far.
That was a huge misplay by Hypnotic Viper right there. We saw them trying to cleanse the Enchanted Crystal Arrow that was dropped, but that actually had hit on to Sheeploong, and in turn, they didn't have it open in order to knock away the stun from the Solar Flare, so they just lost their life right there, and with that Rift Herald charging down mid, taking 2 towers in kind, things are looking really rough once again for Northeastern University.
Yeah, loving this Gale Force Ashe. I mean, we haven't seen a huge amount of Ashe in the meta, and when she does come through, she very often goes for the Kraken Slayer, because it works so well with your Q. You know, you split up your auto into a bunch of smaller autos, so getting on-hit procs feels really good. But the Gale Force, working out pretty well as well here, can go in for that Enchanted Crystal Arrow from a little bit farther away to get a little bit longer of a stun, and then can immediately close the gap with the Gale Force to punish off that additional stun. Really been working out well in these engages in the bottom lane, and has gotten him multiple kills on Hypnotic Viper, as Dorjan just continues to make his presence felt. The damage over time from the Subjugate melts through Taubensight even as he ulties away, and he just smacks onto Hypnotic Viper like he's not even there. Dorjan, 7-1 on the Trundle, dominating this game.
Yeah, we saw an incredible placement of that Ice Pillar to keep Taubensight within range of the tower for just a little bit too long, and when combined with the utilization of Subjugate, we see the Horsey go down, Karma following in kind due to Enchanted Crystal Arrow, Ultan looking for a fight topside again.
Once again, not coming out his way, although he goes in for the showstopper, trying to finish it off, but just doesn't quite have the damage. His team gets themselves on a soul point, but Ultimate Cars continues to destroy this set.
Luckily, you aren't worth a whole lot of gold at this point if you're Ultan, so you're able to go for these big plays that force multiple people up in order to confirm a kill, and in turn, what that means is you just get huge stacking coming through. Dorjan just going deeper on onto Hypnotic Viper now.
Yeah, just destroying him there. Benjamex ends up picking up that kill, but Hypnotic Viper just can't even play the game anymore. It's like 3 fights in a row now where he's just gotten instantly picked and taken down. He's gone for the Kraken Slayer to try to work his way through the tank line that this Leona, Set, and Trundle are going to go for, but the loss of mobility there by not having Gale Force, you know, really punishing, in addition to the lack of summoner spells, in addition to Dorjan just being ridiculously fed, it's making it really tough to play the game out as Jinx, and it looks like HoH's game plan of giving it over and punishing it has worked out beautifully.
Yeah, maybe it is the support in me that is saying this, Gordo, but at the end of the day, I would much rather have a 1-in-4 top laner than a 1-in-4 ADC. It's just going to be so long before Hypnotic Viper is able to scale up and do anything now. They're going to be constantly forced out of lane and continuously pressured. And the light at the end of the tunnel for Ultan is the fact that he still managed to get the first tower topside of the map. Gwen will be delayed a little bit in their ability to split push here, although they have completed that Rift Maker.
Yeah, for sure. And that's where the Hullbreaker comes in too, that I really like for Ultan here. You know, Ultimate Cars wants to go for the split push game, so even with Ultan kind of losing, just putting him on that Hullbreaker, giving him those bonus stats, letting him play the side lane as close to effectively as possible is a great game plan there from HoH. You'd rather he not be dying in the 1v1 quite as much as he has, but it's going to continue to work out there, though. with the additional stats from the Hullbreaker, it's going to make it harder to just demolish this set the way that you could if he had gone for a more team fight focused build.
Yeah, for sure. Across the map, things are really becoming very, very difficult to come back from for the side of Northeastern University. We see the encroachment of Shibloon onto the top side of the map. Ultan, though, gonna see it and back right off there. A lot of priority, a lot of vision. That line has moved up so much throughout the enemy's jungle for HoH Gaming, and that just means that as we get closer and closer to this Baron, one play could spell further disaster.
Absolutely could. Still stealing away jungle camps is Dorjan. Knows that he is this big force on the map, has the Titanic Hydra completed, is so difficult to deal with, and all the jungles belong to this Trundle. He can just keep on stealing away whatever he particularly wants. Ultan and Cars trading once again here. See if they try to collapse towards Ultan here. It looks like what Taubenzeit is going for. He's calling over Shibloon as well. But it's going to be tough to really make a lot of mileage happen out of that. Committing all these members towards the top side could really result in you being punished, especially as all of the members of HoH now are actually just grouping on up to try to start this Baron.
We saw the pings that the Karma was bot side. Utopian Soldier going to have to book it up here as the Baron is started right up. We'll see how the fight goes down from here on out.
Big Zenith Blade landed onto Ultimate Cars. That is their strongest member. And Shibloon just trying to run all the way through to get out of DL Forever. Can't get through with his life, though. There's Crystal Arrow. Ultimate Cars dives into the back line. Actually manages to pick up the kill onto DL Forever finally. But Taubenzeit not able to participate in that fight. It's 2 for 1 so far. And the disengage coming on through now from Northeastern. They just have to give up that fight. And there could be Baron for the side of HoH, although without their marksman, going to take a little bit of time to do.
Nice shutdown going over to the Gwen for sure. Ultimate Cars will have a lot of gold to work with here as they push towards that Nashor's Tooth. And once you have that attack speed, you are able to mow down towers pretty darn quickly. So that's something to definitely watch out for. And everyone is getting a little bit low on red side. We shall see whether or not they're going to be able to finish up this Baron, but the re-engage may be upon us.
Yeah, Taubenzeit getting chased on down here is going to get taken out. Ultan claims that kill, and they can't get the Baron, but they can get the jungler. They'll at least take that if they can. 30 seconds to go on Dragon. This will be the soul for HoH, so they definitely want to make sure they'll be healthy. They definitely want to take these recalls, set up this vision, and be ready to try to claim themselves Infernal Soul.
They are in a little bit of an awkward position just because they took so long around that Baron play. They aren't going to be able to back super comfortably. We see a few people deciding to do so here while others work as that front line, but this may allow for a bit of an establishment of engage and pressure for blue team as we do in fact see Northeastern try to go in.
The Cars is just a little bit too far up. He gets locked on down. He gets taken out.
Flare!
Viper gonna be the next one. 3-man Solar Flare sets up this fight perfectly for HoH, and it's a slaughter there. They get 4 kills for nothing and are now gonna just be able to push right on through onto the base. They don't need the Dragon Soul. They don't need the Baron. They just need the huge numbers advantage.
Yeah, I don't think that they can end off of this push, but this is at least one inhibitor gone, if not more. Trundle is going to peel off, and Dorjan will claim that soul regardless. But that is the worst of both worlds right there for Northeastern Gaming, Gordo. I don't know how they're supposed to come back into this one. They're going to lose so much priority due to the super minions rampaging down mid, and with the Baron still up, we saw how powerful you can get HoH Gaming off of one Baron to take from the last game. This could spell the end of days and the end of their hopes here in the Aegis Vanguard League.
Certainly could here. HoH on the cusp of a slot in those 8VL playoffs. Definitely are going to be wanting their shot, push their way on through deeper and deeper into this tournament. Northeastern just barely hanging on here by a thread. Going to get caught out once again. Shibloon not long for this world in a 1 versus 5. Will get taken on out there by DL Forever. Now they can just go right back. They can start up the Baron. They can say, hey, there's one of your major engage tools down. Let's see if Taubenzeit wants to try his luck and throw himself in the middle of 5 of us. I like those odds.
It's sure going to be difficult to do anything here. Gwen is bot side of the map. Ultimate Car's not able to get a wave pushed in far enough to really start threatening those turrets either. And so it's really looking like a positional mistake that will lead to not only the death of Shibloon, but a taking of that Baron Nashor. We are so quickly accelerating the pace of the game now, Gordo. It is 23 minutes in, but it feels like the end of times for the blue side.
It really does. They've really lost out on a whole bunch of options here. You know, this isn't even really an AP Karma. It's gone for the Shirelia's Battle Song. So, lacking in damage from the mid lane, you know, kind of reliant on Gwen to be that magic damage source. Lacking in damage from the AD carry position as well. Taubenzeit getting caught in the enemy jungle in the middle of everybody is going to get chased on down there. Benjamex has the depth charge. It chases you the whole way, bud. You can go as fast as you want, and it will match you eventually. Ultan getting ganked here. We'll see if he can get his way on out. He used the showstopper immediately to try to gain a little bit more distance. Is getting locked on down. Is it a 1 versus 3? Flashes away from the chains. Here comes the 3-man squad chasing him down. Meanwhile, Dorjan is chasing in the mid lane. Ultron almost getting a kill, trying his best to stay alive. Will eventually fall on down. But Dorjan has found Hypnotic Viper, wants the kill, doesn't go into the fountain. Alright, he's not that crazy. But the rest of the team, they're pushing in the bottom lane. Recall's coming on through from the blue team, but they're just a little bit slow. And HoH gonna get a little bit more done in this base off the back of their top laner getting picked. There's a big dredge line landed onto Dorjan, but he's just so tanky. He throws down the subjugate, and he just doesn't care. He's just standing there wailing away on the front line. Will eventually go on down, but the rest of his team has already slammed the fight as a result. That's gonna be multiple kills, the full ace going over to HoH.
The troll has fallen, but it does not matter. We see everyone just pushing forward into these last few turrets, and it will be a 2-0 victory for HoH Gaming here. They have leveraged incredible picks from early on in the game to secure victory here. It doesn't matter that they have a sub that doesn't actually play top lane. It doesn't matter that you have those comfort picks in the form of Jinx coming through for the side of Northeastern University. They will mark their spot in playoffs, and unfortunately, Northeastern University are eliminated.
HoH Gaming coming up huge here in their final game of the night, going to be qualifying for those AVL playoffs. You know, really great performance from them tonight. You know, we had a lot of questions about the substitute top laner. But he performed great here. You know, had a little bit of a rougher time in game number 2, but there was such a big lead for Dorjan that it did not really end up mattering. It trundled in the jungle so big in game number 2, able to come up huge, and really a great win on the top side too for that substitute player coming on through. Should be very happy with how he was able to perform in this game, and I'm sure Clock's gonna be giving him some props and gonna be telling him he owes him one.
Yeah, for sure. In the time in which they are needed most, we really do see topside come through for HoH Gaming here. And overall, I'm really happy with how they performed. I think that this is a solid argument for why they deserve to be one of these teams moving on to the playoff bracket for AVL. And I'm excited to see how far they decide to push this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, these two teams were in the same group. HoH just barely up above Northeastern in the standings, 4-3 versus 3-4, 9-9 game record versus 8-9. So, you know, there was definitely some room for questions here. HoH as the 4th seed, though, at the end of the day, we're definitely hoping to get themselves a slot in these playoffs, and I'm sure it's going to be a big relief for them to actually be able to end on up here. Will be coming in as one of those lower seeds, of course, would have preferred to get a win up against the 3rd seed over in the Noxus group to make them have a little bit of an easier matchup coming into the playoffs. But, you know, once you're in this position, once you have to play this Elim game in week number 2, you're just going to be happy that you at least are making the playoffs at all.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of excitement still left in this league, though. Don't you guys worry. These playoffs are obviously going to be a fantastic time. We will be moving to best of 5s next week, so a lot more action for sure. A lot of really, really good teams that will be able to finally return from following this gauntlet that we've seen for the past 2 weeks to really show why they wrecked face here in the early stages of this split.
Yeah, you know, definitely was a was a long, hard split for the Demacia group in general. Just one game separating third seed from sixth seed. So a lot of question marks. A, when they had to play cross group with Noxus, and B, even when they had to come back here and do the intergroup play. Um, when your fourth seed goes up against the third seed of the other group and gets slammed, and then has to come on back here to fight for their life up against a team that was really close to them in the standings, it can start giving you some questions about whether or not you'll really be able to make it all the way there. So definitely gonna feel good for them to be able to make it. Condolences over to the side of Northeastern University. They did barely make it into this stage, qualifying as a sixth seed. Had themselves a nice win last week to be able to make it to this stage over Tempest Gaming Vipers. 2-0 win for them was really crucial in them even getting to play this week. So props to them for that upset and for being able to make it over here to week number 2. But falling short at the very last moment, going to mean that their journey in the AVL does end here.
Yeah, and we will start on with quarterfinals. No double elimination or anything like that. This is going to be a good, honest push for a championship victory from all participating teams here in the AVL. So things are going to continue to reflect what we saw here. Even in this game, we are going to be looking at some incredibly tense situations where basically any loss of a full set will in fact lead to their elimination from contention. So you don't want to go anywhere. We do have someone approaching us here in the studio for an interview. We got Mr. Kiwiism on the line.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, Mr. Kiwiism. Is that how I pronounce it? Am I carrying it through right? All right, good to hear. Thanks for joining us here, man. Congrats on your win with HoH. Gonna lead it off by asking about the E-sub here. You guys did not have clocks for tonight. I had to bring in a substitute in the top lane. What kind of led to that, and how are you guys able to prepare and adapt for this game? I see there's some questions about your roster in general over on the roster sheet here.
We seem to not have a roster. We have 3 men and Dorjan's sub, but Dorjan's kind of our main jungler as of right now, even though he is a sub. But QLox kind of was not being like very negative and stuff mentally and attitude wise and scrims, so we benched him. And we have another top laner, Arrogant Nick is his name. He wasn't able to make it tonight, so we pulled in another E-sub. And I don't know if you've noticed, we've been E-subbing quite a lot the past few like games and play-ins, so we're kind of used to like just throwing around our roster. And luckily, our E-sub tonight played like the champions we had in our game plan, anyways, so he just fit in really well. It was we pretty much just had pick a strong side top like Set, Camille, Aatrox, and Alton played all those, so he fit perfectly in our game plan. So that's what's going on with our roster.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely a difficult situation to be in where you have to shuffle around players so frequently, but it seems like HoH Gaming is relatively used to it. With that in mind, due to the fact that you do have such kind of a rotating cast of characters come through, how does that impact your approach to drafting phase? I know that you talked particularly about the fact that everyone could just play strong side, top side this time around. But do you do a lot of scouting beforehand, or do you just kind of play it by ear, ban out some of the meta champions, and just kind of hope that your team is able to mesh together?
We do like a good amount of scouting the day beforehand. So we do scrims on Sunday, and then after scrims, we do like an hour of game plan, planning out what we're gonna do, draft, and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm not gonna give away everything, but we do like a good amount of scouting and draft. Like I don't know what we like do, like simulated drafts and stuff, and decide what we're gonna play and what we're gonna pick and how we're gonna do it. Because that seems to be how we win more often than if we just throw something together.
Great to hear. Looking forward to those playoffs once they get started. So you guys have now qualified over to the best of 5 stage. I don't think it's fully clear who you guys are going to be playing against quite yet, but you will be coming in as one of those lower seeds. Anybody you got your eye on in particular here from competing up in that top stage matchup over in the other side of the bracket? It's the Kuma Katanas and Grandview JV. Presumably you will be playing against one of them.
Not really. I really don't look at any other teams. Some of the teams I do like because a couple of my friends are on them. So I was kind of sad that I didn't get to play against Nameless Thieves because Censored Mercy was subbing in, and that's my friend. And then I think there was Tempest Gaming, Mitch. He's also my friend. So there's a lot of teams that have like a lot of my friends on them that I want to play against. But besides that, I don't really look at any of the other teams that much, unless we're playing them, of course, and we're doing like the draft scouting, whatnot.
Yeah, that sounds good. Tight knit community here in the AVL for sure. And I feel like there are a lot of connections that you get to see in these amateur leagues. A lot of high elo players just kind of know each other, get a feel for one another. Either it be through like real life or just connections forged via solo queue. But one thing I have to ask, because it's been a burning question that's been sitting at the back of my mind since the start of the season. What does HoH stand for?
It stands for our owner. His name is Haikage, House of Haikage. Is what it stands for. So, yep, that's what it stands for. HoH, House of Haikage.
Good to hear there. Well, we're going to close this one on out here pretty soon, Mr. Kiwi, but want to give you the floor before we do so. Anybody you want to shout on out? Anything you want to say to the crowd at home before you guys take your steps into playoffs next week?
I don't know. I think maybe some people are watching me or whatever. Shout out to them. If they click the link and I told them to watch. Other than that, shout out my team for keeping like good attitude and good mental, especially DL and Benji with our roster just being all messed up and it's like hectic and never know what's going on. So it's like really nice to have people who are level-headed on the team and not get tilted at that kind of stuff, especially when scrims don't go super well.
All right. Awesome to hear. Looking forward to watching you guys in the bracket stage starting next week. That's going to do it for us here tonight on the AVL. We will be back throughout this week with other Aegis leagues, and we will be back next week to get started with the quarterfinals of our playoffs. Until then, that's going to do it for tonight. From myself, Niarco, and Samalcrum on production, thank you all for tuning in, and have yourselves a great night.
Bye-bye.